Cause ain't nothing new under the sun. That means it's been done before. But not like this though. Yeah, the guy flows giving with such precision. Flow like a Maybach, that's what keep me driven. Roof partition, scribing to the cosmo, omnipotent vision. I'm everywhere, tell me what I'm really missing. Traveling man, jumping past fifth dimension. P now, too wide open to see religion. Resonating way too loud for me to listen. Is you listening? Merc Kush jumping out the gym like Blake Griffin. Have your mind somewhere in the ethers missing. I cook food for thought and they proceed to listen. Cause my flow's nourishment and my words are living. See my tongue way stronger than that gun you gripping. Cause a big bang like the birth of earth was given. I get missing through the instruments and melody. I don't make music, I compose sound therapy. I think I'm Nick Tesla, Bob Marley, master of ceremony, nigga, I'm God body. Cracking up a bottle open and I'm calling Baron. Osiris Green, Mosra Beads got them niggas staring. I think I'm Jeff Fort, Noah Drew. Painting pictures with these words, man, it's what I do. Shouts out the Thriller campaign, nigga, what it do? Keeping everything kosher, no Jew. How I ride on the day that Noah would die. I'm a rule back, we supposed to ride. How I ride on the day that Malcolm died. By any means, I'm living my life. Hey, since an adolescent, been getting it right. Cause the people who were pressing they caring for life. Had to make my own way from nickel and dime. Till a nigga graduated and got me a pine. Where I'm from, man, them boys ain't playing around. Hopping out ski masks, they laying it down. Just because you match your description. Even though we all know it's fiction. All they really want to do is convict them. Forge his name or make up a victim. When it's feeling like the world is against them. It's all good, nigga, galaxies with them. It's all good, could a galaxy with them. It's all good, nigga, my yacht with them. Hey. Shouts out to my ancestors. Oh, wow. Thriller campaign. The real is. Live life always. Y'all know my folks so serious. Woo! Jiggy Ross C. Trey, what up? Yogi.
Yeah, rhyme so dope, my eyes low. When you move like that, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and Chinos. Track up with the land patents, let go with them townhomes. What's a native to a native? Eat $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation.
Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze, let's go.
Fire!
DJ Super Blaze.
Yeah, rhyme so dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, let go with them townhomes. What's a native to a native? Eat $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation. Yeah. God's children, give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling? He say put no one before him in divine image. It's you with God of Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turn on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned to nothing. And now we nothing's turned to something. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven. This the message to the black man. 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 Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof. This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. You wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. It's not wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled, how I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hot and black was never on your side. They too mad to tell your apps where you sleep at night. Fire!
Yeah.
Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze. Let's go.
Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up. On the track. A lot of niggas died 1865. Took a Michael Flair, highway ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hollering, black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man's zone. And I ain't talking shit, this my definition. If being savage was our nation, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. We the God to the gate. So when they say they fear God, now you know what they made. Shoot song, move song. Shoot song, move song.
Yeah, you
Put us
listening
in the
to
same
Super
room,
Blaze.
he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down. Shoot song, move song. Shoot song, move song. Put us in the same room, he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down. Every day my niggas dying, they don't know the truth. How the hell you close to God, we don't know it's you. Yo, how the hell you supposed to survive, we don't know the shoot. He should've died, you let him slide, cause he look just like you. I tried to tell him all skin ain't kin. Everybody ain't your partner, everybody ain't your friend. How the hell they supposed to help when they the ones that put you in? They don't struggle how we struggle, they can't get it how we live. Can't be scared to die when we already dead. Either way, your life is stake no matter how you play it. My higher self said we should choose remain godly. My lower want these motherfucking bodies. Infiltrate they circles like a motherfucking Audi. Take them to the south and put them down like OG Bobby. They don't want equality in this club, they want these problems. Killers right beside me, stand full of chicken waffles. Shoot song, move song. Shoot song, move song. Put us in the same room, he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down. Shoot song, move song. Shoot song, move song. Put us in the same room, he gon' go down. Hit a nigga with that boom, he gon' go down.
Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze. Let's go.
DJ Super Blaze.
I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the proudest of the paper. They know who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us. I said on paper, ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the proudest of the paper. They know who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the proudest of the paper. They know who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the proudest of the paper. They know who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. I said paper on paper on paper. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the proudest of the paper. They know who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the proudest of the paper. They know who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us. I said gotta never die, never left us. Even though they took you home, he's still behind you like a catcher. Life is like a doctor, everybody want their checkup. Money, he been preaching, charge for a confession. See, ain't nobody focused on the bullshit that they told us. Always trying to pin you sick when ain't nobody came before.
Check.
We the best part of waking up before the folks. That's why they want your backs against the wall like a poster. Indoctrination, told us education. Most of history they taught you came from some.
It's all about the paper, you know?
Roots was never true, fuck the whole compilation.
You know what it is, man. It's a Super Blaze.
Fuck Alex Haley.
The Autonomous Party podcast to make sure.
Babylon used to devil by NY.
You know what it is, man.
Niggas think I'm
the campaign, PSB.
But bitch, I ain't no fool shopping my toes every season. I said paper on paper.
Shout to my American Maroons out there.
On the side, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive.
I'm
the paper.
a Carvio. You know what it is.
Swear they hate us cause they ain't us.
I said paper on paper on paper. What?
Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper.
I still Lucy. You know what it is, man.
In the proudest of the paper. They know what who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't.
Shout to Nine, what up, bro?
Thought bad rap.
Big OJ.
Niggas how it happen. Control is a goal, now you spice like William Shatner. Technology's economy has overthrown your balance. Now your headaches come from waves, Microsoft's up in your atmosphere. Fears how they take you, they spank you for being active and questioning all the requisites made to prevent disasters. Clearing out the churches.
We just bumped into this room music real quick.
Tired in this survival for the masses.
Oh.
And never loved our classics, but bite off our originals. Reclassify your favorite rhymes the way they did the Seminoles. I'm so black, proud that my inside's purple. If the world had never died, they probably never alert you. You need to venture out and stop sticking to circles. Strength and numbers react different to curfews. The moving our perfume, the streets ain't gold. Our summer so cold, we left the fall on froze. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive and the proudest of the paper. They know what who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive and the proudest of the paper. They know what who we are, swear they hate us cause they ain't us.
It's all on paper, man. Big fact. Super Blaze inside the campaign mix, man. Let's keep it locked right here. Ain't no other podcast make show like this.
Spell is broken, y'all.
Shout to the Fab in the chat. You know what it is, man.
Beat that. See how we gonna do this. Spell shit
We're
ain't.
gonna slide through it real quick. Let's go.
Look. This ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. This ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems. Life ain't what it seems, life ain't what it seems. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. DJ Khaled voice, we the best. Can't dwell on it cause we manifest. I got tough skin, bulletproof vest. You say you for the people, put you to the test cause the spell is broken. People looking sad, I'm just in my bag. Only time I'm not here is playing tag. We ain't come off a boat, they big mad. They ain't give it to a straight zigzag. Get your lick back, say you did that. I once gave a fuck, I had to get it back. Can't get it back, you gotta live with that. Your government is crack, get out of here with that. Now we know who we are. They mad, they know we a star. They lied, they owe us a car. Really, they owe us the land. Recoupment, they owe us some bands. Wanna help, you owe us a hand. You silly, I know who I am. I'm an Indian, I don't give a damn. Why take problems with none of the perks? The system ain't broke, we don't know how it works. The ops ain't gonna tell you the ops is some jerks. The ops really obstacles, we was here first. I'm spitting the scripture, they call it a verse. We fit the description, they call it a curse. It's fucked up. We was really fucked like both ankles. When they try to help, I'm like, no thank you. Trust them and they gon' flank you. They ain't conquer nothing, but they did snake you. Don't sleep near me cause I will wake you. I'm really woke like pills make you. You show me love and I feel grateful. I'm not a hater, I don't feel hateful. I'ma say something, hope it reach the nation. Less appropriation, more appreciation. God created us, y'all a recreation. When you say Caucasian, all I hear is Asian. I'm a truth teller, I'm not an agent. Truth teller, I'm not an agent. I'm not foul, but the fouls is flagrant. When life's a world stage. Right is right, wrong is wrong. We know that we can police our own. This shit ain't what it seems. Life is but a dream. Who's ever doing the asking is asking. Now we know who we are. They mad, they know we a star. They lied, they owe us a car. Really, they owe us the land. Recoupment, they owe us some bands. Wanna help, you owe us a hand. You silly, I know who I am. I'm an Indian, I don't give a damn. This ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. This ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems, life ain't what it seems, life ain't what it seems. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. The truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't legalized. Realize, realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Real eyes, realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Real eyes.
Shout to Love on Purpose. What up, mama?
Yeah, slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much, they scared of us. Children of the sun, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America, pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even up the playing field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave her. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here.
Stack that bitch up, right?
Yeah, truth can't be told, it gotta be realized.
It gotta be realized.
The truth can't be told, it gotta be
realized.
Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized.
You know what it is,
It
man?
gotta be
Let's
realized.
call them as part of
Freedom
this. Go, let's
it ain't
go.
realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't, it ain't legalized. Realized.
Ain't no campaign mix like this.
Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Real eyes, realize.
Ain't no podcast mix show like this.
Real eyes, realize. Realize.
Let's go.
Slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much, they scared of us. Children of the sun, y'all don't compare to us. Pale face people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America. Pale face people, this ain't y'all area. Even up the playing field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave her. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans and naturalized citizens made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492 we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, whites got so offended. Common law rights gave us amendments. Think I don't speak truth, that's alright. First slave 1619 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted it come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to the teacher. And the new kid got voice coming out the speaker. Cut off trees down and made us weaker. Really they foreigner, the shit gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aboriginal, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheeple. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privilege is real, they working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savage. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part-time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Been lied to, I got built up anger. You built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read, but we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the religion. Skin copper color look just like a penny. Wanted our land and you called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats there to gotta pay attention. We got ancestors, but the papers is missing. Kings and queens, we just can't remember. Remember who you are, just like Simba. Now they got a vax, we don't want that in us. George Washington is the ninth president, look it up. United States, only 10 square blocks, look it up. White people really the minorities, look it up. Courtrooms don't got authorities, look it up. You want me, say stop governing me. Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep it 100 with me? Why Trayvon Killer still walking around free? Made this song for the truth, don't hate it. History was told in reverse, I've stated. Please till impress somebody, gotta say it. I'm taking out of school, that's the reason I made it. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. It's his story. Amen. Look. America, 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 with you the long way. America, 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 with you the long way. America to Mary, yeah, America to Mary. The long way, America to Mary, America to Mary, America to Mary, America to Mary. Treating me like you cheating on me. I got an SSC and they leeching on me. They leeching on me. They fucking me. They done went under the bleachers on me. All you wanna do is tax me. You ain't even really asked me. Ain't no full disclosure. Made me feel like it's over. We ain't break up, no closure. We ain't get no domestic. Is you foreign or domestic? Respect it or you can check it. I care about this country. I care about this country, but this country ain't got no love for me. It's treating me all monkey. On the boat is how they got here, and just look around, it's a lot here. They really put down the plot here, but they birthrights, it's not here. I'm from the soil, copper colored. I ain't black, no crude oil. Thinking about this two-door. America, 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 with you the long way. America, 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 with you the long way. America to Mary, America to Mary. The moment you realize those people that you love that you don't have to leave behind. America to Mary, America to Mary, America to Mary. We at war, we at war. Everybody can't go though. Some of us vibing high. Everybody can't go though. Some of y'all might leave family behind. Everybody can't go though. Could've completed, but you get deleted. Some people are defeated, so you feel deleted. And knowledge is medicine, knowing you need it. If everyone go, I'ma know that you treated. You think I'm conceited, I'm feeling completed. Life is a game and I'm planning to beat it. Life is a game and I'm planning to beat it. Everybody can't go though, beat it. You was ascending and starting to win. No pretending, actually win. Low vibrations, boxing you in. Who keep letting them toxins in? All my people are toxin us. Everyone on our toxin land. Ancient like cosmology. I am the source, I go within. I can't go unless I go to win. Really a God supposed to win. Anyone that's trying to get with me, just start doing the most you in. Trying to turn up, it goes to 10. Blood type O, you almost in. Been narking, we all go in. G, I'm a rule, we all go in. Bring you the water, but can't make you drink. No, I'm not here to just make you think. If anything, I'm here to just make you fight. It's all lost, just make it right. Everybody ain't with it. Let me tell you, I don't like reading. Freedom ain't free, you broke, I get it. Let me tell you, you don't like breathing. Can't even wake you up, you sleeping. Niggas are sleeping, scalping season. Some of y'all sleep through all this treason. Government beefing, now you vegan. Need autonomy, really don't need them. Now we rock this house, is freedom. Really gonna hurt my heart to leave them. Really gonna hurt my heart to leave them. This assimilation or a cycle, they be hating on you for survival. That's why I don't mess with the Bible. Ain't nobody tribal going viral. We original, we hold the title. Lot of work to do, how you idle. Ain't no false idols in they bio. We ancient for ancient in Ohio. Say what you want and do what you do, but I'm starting to get, I don't know about you. Gotta go within, can't go on YouTube. If you think you know, you ain't got no clue. Say what you want and do what you do, but I'm starting to get it, I don't know if you do. Gotta go within, can't go on YouTube. You thinking you know, you ain't got no clue. War, we at war. Everybody can't go though. Some of us vibing high. Everybody can't go though. Some of y'all might leave family behind. Everybody can't go though. Could've completed, but you get deleted. Some people are defeated, so you fit this.
Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. We been here, lived here, open borders, got deported, fought for rights. Kidnapped, bitch slapped, blacked out, covered up, washed white. Drugged up, slugged up, beat bread, left for dead, fuck your life. It's all a plan, kill your man, take your land, slave your kids, rape your wife. Why y'all look so mad if all this shit I say is true? Why y'all look so mad if all this shit happened to you? White man quick to tell you, you was a slave, nothing before. But he himself only been free since 1840. Don't record it, I'm an ancient Egyptian from Atlantis, head straight from Canada, that's Israel. Nothing fake about me, no capping, rapping, I just fed the ink and I'm digital. No caveman, I'm original. Kentucky fried, extra crispy, wear a lot of gold, cause my family history. I'm the guy to know, I bring death to history. Well, we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came.
Ever since a youngin', I've been running, getting to the cake. Dog, you ain't 100, this 100, let me demonstrate. If she ain't got brains, then I ain't tryna penetrate. And if you ain't a stand-up needy, you could get your dinner ate. I ain't buying all that real shit, dog, you benefit. Took her on a dinner date, now we on the interstate. Might be a rookie in the game, but I've been a great. And we about autonomy, dog, we ain't tryna integrate. Man, we ain't tryna integrate. Was broke back then, now the youngin' seeing different cake. We don't go off feelings, we just make sure that the business straight. And if you ain't an intellect, then you can't get a penetrate.
DJ Super Blaze. It's in the mix.
Ever since a youngin', I've been running, getting to the cake. Dog, you ain't 100, this 100, let me demonstrate. If she ain't got brains, then I ain't tryna penetrate. And if you ain't a stand-up needy, you could get your dinner ate. I ain't buying all that real shit, dog, you benefit. Took her on a dinner date, now we on the interstate. Might be a rookie in the game, but I've been a great. And we about autonomy, dog, we ain't tryna integrate. Man, we ain't tryna integrate. Was broke back then, now the youngin' seeing different cake. We don't go off feelings, we just make sure that the business straight. And if you ain't an intellect, then you can't get a penetrate. Local need you, now I'm getting love all in different states. Gotta need you, if you ain't got scars, then you can't relate. Preach the niggas, I'm just trying to make sure that my people straight. Woke nigga in a sleep world, trying to keep awake. Man, I'm just trying to keep awake. Bodies dropping in my city, damn Perry, keep awake. How by another black man, your op, make it make sense. When the system got y'all niggas going through the same shit. Ever since a youngin', I've been running, getting to the cake. Dog, you ain't 100, this 100, let me demonstrate. If she ain't got brains, then I ain't tryna penetrate. And if you ain't a stand-up need you could get your dinner ate. I ain't buying all that real shit, dog, you been a fake. Took her on a dinner date, now we on the interstate. Might be a rookie in the game, but I've been a great. And we about autonomy, dog, we ain't tryna integrate. Say you shoot, what's your resume? Let me see the proof. Drilling shit, where your gang at? Let me see your troops. Getting money, pull up stunting on them. Let me see your crew. Genocide, they pointing weapons at you. You don't even shoot. Real nigga, how you say you real? You don't lay your peeps. Family man, grind, feed your family, nigga. Fuck the streets, sliding on each other when the government the enemy. If we come together, we got power, nigga, in the beef. For real, nigga, in the beef. You ain't getting money, ain't no reason to be in the streets. Striving to be legends, we ain't trying to be a memory. And now you ain't my nigga, you my Niji Aborigine. Ever since a youngin', I've been running, getting to the cake. Dog, you ain't 100, this 100, let me demonstrate. If she ain't got brains, then I ain't trying to penetrate. And if you ain't a stand-up need you could get your dinner ate. I ain't buying all that real shit, dog, you been a fake. Took her on a dinner date, now we on the interstate. Might be a rookie in the game, but I've been a great. And we about autonomy, dog, we ain't trying to integrate. We ain't trying to integrate with none of y'all. Autonomy over equality.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Tap in.
Bang, bang, bang.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pale racist? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeezed. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Lucy. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy.
Run that back, you heard me? Run that back, you heard me? Tap in. Let go.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Maroon J, what up? Let go. Come on. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Peace to you, Marana.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pale racist? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeezed. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Lucy. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Ain't no more.
Aborigine, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
Shout out to Maroon J. Pull up. Blaze, drop a bomb, man. Drop a bomb. Let's get him right real quick. Bang, bang, bang. All that good stuff. You hear me? Hey, man, listen, man. Shout out to Maroon J, man. You know, part of my autonomy. Just address me as Esther Lucy. You know what I'm saying? We in the building. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's here live in the chat. Shout out to everybody that might come after the fact. You hear me? I appreciate you for tapping in, supporting, subscribing, liking, sharing, etc. You know what I mean? Maranatha to you. You know what I'm saying? Itamukula. You know what I mean? Hensha, all that. I got a lot of joints I can throw. Oh wow, Halito, kind of hot and nappy, kind of hot and nappy. See how I say I gotta catch myself 'cause I be wanting to say it another way, but I know me. Shout out to Opie, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Saponi people out there. You feel me? Shout out my man up there, Ohio players. Esther Lucy, he got me this hat, by the way. You already know what it is. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let's go ahead and show him some love. He just dropped a new joint. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the party. You know what I mean? Free people of color. You know what I mean? We still doing the genealogy joint. You at Thomas, you just gotta follow along. He's showing you things to go look at when you do your own thing, and you can now, help you further along in your own research of your ancestry. You know what I mean? Give respect to both sides of your tree. You never know what you might find. You know what I mean? Honor your mothers and your fathers. Before I even play the clip, though, obviously shout out to Music Media Lounge. It's really a campaign. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. Obviously, via thomasparty.com. You know what I mean? Got some big things coming. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to hold it. You know what I'm talking about? But we got some big shit coming. I'm say it like that. Yeah. Maroonville. Yeah, give all my shout out. BSB, God of Green, Baron P, Blaze. And yeah, we here. Shout out to the campaign mix. I'm trying to tell you too to go to the mix cloud. You know what I'm saying? 8 o'clock. Usually maybe a little bit after, you know how that go. That's Lucy time, right? But around that time, we'll be jumping on Miss Cloud because again, Blaze got a mix that we can't hold back because of YouTube. Shout out to YouTube though. We here though, you know what I mean? But Miss Cloud, obviously, you know what I mean? Shout out to, you know what I mean, other channels too, Music Media Lounge once again. We live, Fort Lauderdale 954. Let's go ahead and tap in though. I'm gonna show you a little quick clip of Opie. Get a little piece of this. Go ahead and check this out when you get a chance. You heard me? Just dropped this week. Tap in.
In the colonial period, there were small numbers of free people of color. So these are people who are free and either of African descent, or some of them, a small number, are of Native American descent. And in order to be a free person of color, you did not have to be one. You did not have to be of African descent or Native American descent. You could be of one or the other and still be categorized as a free person of color. Um, or free mulatto, free Negro. These are the terminology that was most common in that particular time and common in the colonial laws. So these are people who can own land in their own name. They can own slaves.
On the one hand, you've got this sharp distinction between the laws which defined what a slave was and a law that defined what a free person was. But even among that category of free person, there could be a great deal of distinction between the rights and the privileges that were recognized. That the free Black population within different states would often be treated in very different ways than the free white population. And sometimes it was not even easy to predict which states would be most hard line on this question. For instance, North Carolina would allow a free Black person to vote with the requisite amount of property, and other states would not. And therefore, each state had tremendous power at this time to decide what were the liberties, what were the rights of not just free persons versus slave, but free persons of color versus free white persons.
The major change that takes place in the colonial period for free people of color is their ability to testify in court against white people in particular. So there are laws passed in certain colonies that specify that free people of color, slaves, Indians can testify against one another in court, but they cannot testify against whites. This is the beginning of legalized discrimination for all classes of free people of color in the colonial period.
The legal status of free Blacks was always anomalous and precarious. There was little room in the nation's legal code and social life for free African Americans. By definition, under specific legal codes and common practice, to be African American was to be a slave in the early United States. And yet we know that there's a small but growing population of free African Americans, especially in the northern states, but also in southern cities, With the advent of abolition in the northern states through the 18 teens and 1820s, most of the northern state governments enact emancipation legislation and bring slavery to an end. So there's an important free Black population that enjoys the rights of citizenship under state governments. So the state of New York or Massachusetts, for instance, might recognize the rights of free Black men to vote in state elections, would recognize the rights of free Black men to own property. But the nation's government does not recognize free African Americans as citizens of the nation. So somebody like Frederick Douglass, for instance, writes with great pain and great vehemence about that contradiction of his inability to get a passport, to travel abroad legally, because he's not recognized by the government of the United States as a citizen of the United States, even though he's recognized as a free person in the northern states.
Yeah, so you got to go check out that joint, man. It just dropped this week. Shout out to Obi Mia, you know what I mean? Genealogy department, the Thomas Party, you know what I mean? He's doing his thing. And things just give you an outlook on what you research on free people of color, you know what I mean? Free people of color, 11 acres, Maroon J. Yeah. I want to give a shout out, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trail, you know what I mean? You've been doing a lot of art, man. And a lot of people ain't seen it yet, but it's coming out, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Trail, you know what I mean? Aboriginal Liberal Arts Department, you know what I'm saying? He doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Got to give my shout outs to Aboriginal Wallstreet, you feel me? Shout out to Lashana, you know what I'm saying? Too, you know what I mean? In the background, shout out to her. She be keeping me on my toes about certain shit. You heard me? Shout out to you. Mr. Net, shout out to the matriarch, the elder, Miss Sherry, you know what I'm saying? What up, Fred? You know, I'm gonna give some shout out to some folk real quick though. That be, supporting us from the, from day one type shit. Yeah. Yeah, so Bree, what up, Bree? You know what I'm saying? I ain't looking at the chat. I ain't on front right now. Miss Stell, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the audience once again that I've talked to, you know what I mean? Not just I see you here, we talk, you know what I mean? So you know what it is on the Sunday joint or how we meet on these different platforms. Shout out to Clubhouse is where I met a lot of y'all at. So shout out to them for this that exchange of being able to meet y'all. You heard? Again, and shout out to everybody we met through Music Media Lounge. Obviously, come to our website. Appreciate everybody that does that too. TheAtomisParty.com. You feel me? Last week, though, we did Esselucity Part 2. You know what I'm saying? And Esselucity Part 2 was, great. Shout out to Nine Ether, see? And Tecum said something happened. He told us what happened after the vote. We get him, but I ain't gonna go in. We'll see him for Part 3. You know what I'm saying? I'm put like that. Well, either way, though, you know what I'm saying? We did Esselucity Part 2. And just to give a glimpse, because I want to keep it fresh in your mind, you know what I'm saying? Esselucity. And different things that's being said at different times, right? Because we just gonna, and as we know, shout out to Carla D. Pratt. You know what I'm saying? She did this breakdown in basically 2005. But obviously in this time frame, you can pull it up real quick, guys. The link, I'm gonna go to a document. You know what I'm saying? It's a lawful document. We on Aboriginal Wall Street, so history wise, I'm just gonna add this in there just real quick. You know what I mean? Yeah, no. Yeah, the Bruner family. Yeah. The Indian law. You know what I'm saying? It's an interesting situation here. You feel me? You gotta go read those treaties, you know what I'm saying? In this time frame too, by the way. Is this it? National Indian Library. Let me make sure so I can find it on page because I ain't gonna read the whole thing, right? But you see the website, just give y'all the, where I'm coming from. Oh yeah, this is it. All right, so boom. Let them see it. United States Court of Appeals, 10th Circuit, Sylvia Davis. You can go look her up. You know what I'm saying? Information on a lot of stuff. Oklahoma. You see what I'm saying? You see the, I want you to see, shout out to the Bruner Band, Yacht Seminole, but obviously in the jurisdictional standpoint, in the court of law, tied to what we would call Seminole Nation, right? United States of America, Department of Interior, Bureau of Indian Affairs. Just to let anybody know they didn't know that the Bureau of Indian Affairs is tied to the Department of Interior, the War Department. So Some interesting joints down here. The We Woke Up. AGC might want to look up that interesting name. We Woke Up. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, some names that I want that to sit in your face for a second. Now, boom, this is being filed. The number to give you the number and everything is September 10th, 2003. That's 2 years prior to Carla D. Pratt doing what she did in 2005 with this term that I'm talking about, escalation. And just because we just did escalation, these are things, these little quick clips. You feel me? So you can get something. Feel me? To the part 3 coming. You know what I mean? This month. That's right. We said it. We coming with part 3 of this because there's a lot of information we ain't gonna make. Keep this fresh on your mind, right? Slide down a little bit. Actually, it's gonna be there a couple different times. But matter of fact, I'm trying to see where I can tell you to go. All right, go down to background inside of this link, because again, I want y'all to see something interesting here. Background, third paragraph. Oh wait, second paragraph. All right. Now, matter of fact, no, I ain't gonna do that. Our decisions, our discussions of historical background can be brief because of thorough treatment in Davis 1 and Davis 2. The Seminole Nation was formed after the European conquest of America. In addition to members of Native American ancestry, it also includes members of African ancestry, descendants of escaped slaves who began living among Native American groups in the then foreign territory that became Florida. In 1823, the Seminole Nation, Florida lands, were ceded to the United States by the Treaty of Camp Moultrie. Thereafter, most of the Seminole Nation peoples, including those of African ancestry, one drop rule, were forcibly removed to what is now Oklahoma. After removal of the tribe, entered into a treaty with the United States addressing the rights of its members of African descent. And it says the Escalus. So this really at the time they ain't even using the term African, they're using the term Negro when you go look at it, but the term still is applied to what they would call a Negro, would put them in the category of the African situation that, we have so much issues with still, you know what I mean? But it's also showing in law that, this is an indigenous term, and we already can show you this is being used prior to the 13 colonies, prior to, first contact type situations, by the way. That's why we're going to do part 3. That's why I wanted you to see that the timeline, how this joint going back to, got Alabama, 1540, and we tracing all the way up to basically almost like 300 years with this term being used. So it is after a removal of the tribe entered a treaty with the United States addressing the rights of its members of African descent, again, the Escalus. The treaty, which we refer to as the treaty in 1866, it contains the following language. So again, it's treaties involved, terms is being used. This is in this case. 2003 is done with the freedmen situation. So, but crazy enough, the people that are being labeled free people of color prior to that, especially in the Southeast, tied to those same tribes that they say went to Oklahoma, this term is being used in the languages prior to them going there. So there's a recognition that has to be made understanding this and how they're terming these people African descent as if they're just slaves of the tribe. So hold on one second. So yeah, that's what I got for that. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? I just want to show that to you. That's Lucy Part 3, probably, what I'm saying, December 17th. You know what I mean? Give a shout out to that in the near future. You know what I'm saying? A couple of weeks from now, you'll see it. Next week, we'll have a panel discussion. Shout out to our guests that we're arranging to pull up on us, you know what I mean? For the holidays, as they would call it, going into the solstice. You hear me? Yeah, shout out to, again, everybody that's here that's happening. And definitely go research, you know what I'm saying? These treaties and what's being used in the language. You know what I mean? Then you kind of see through some things. Yeah, Blaze though, I want to give a shout out to because it's Aboriginal Wall Street, you know what I'm saying? To my man, you know what I mean, Black Jagger, you know what I'm saying, that new human. So as we bring up our guests, we're gonna play a quick little bit of that right there. And then after that, we're gonna get to it, finish it. You heard me? Let's go. Blaze.
listening to Super Blaze. Let's go.
DJ Super Blaze is in the mix.
Jack, back in the saddle. I'm here, moving at the speed of light, heading in the battle. Running through the dark in the night now. We gon' spread our wings and take flight now. You gotta let it rain out, to bring the rain down, to bring the flames down. This is the change now. Dance in the rain right now, ain't no games right now. Dance in the flames right now, there ain't no pain right now. I had enough, I got a strange feeling. I got a new healing, feel like a new human. So lost in the world out there, you need the same feelings. You need the new healing. We got my new human. They say we fire.
Yeah, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. We're gonna have to go check into that Black Jacket. You heard me. We're gonna play it towards the end. You know, we're gonna bring that back. You heard me. I just wanted to thank you, Blaze, for that right there. Shout out to Black Jacket, man. New human. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Master Ether, can you hear me? Mic check 1 2. We live.
Yo, what's up, man? You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you?
Man, one day at a time, man. One day at a time. I thank you for, always pulling up and doing Aboriginal Wall Street with us from day one. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it. Some people don't really want to talk about, even though we got the word Aboriginal, but the Wall Street part, which is dealing with the economics and politics and the boiler room type stuff, that's going to allow us to get ahead and become that new human, that ethnogenesis that we need on that political economic level. You know what I'm saying? To ethno aggregate. See, the niggas that talk about all this conscious shit, but as I know, we talk about the economic political parts on a micro level, dealing with your household, to the national scale of what we think is best for our, how we self-identify and what we want to do is understanding these things that I think you brought to the table. So I want to give you thanks for that. I want also, before I let you go, get loose, because I know I seen it. Shout out to everybody that showed up to it. You know what I mean? That you've been doing. That's why I actually got the hashtag feeling it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you credit. I got it from you. You know what I'm saying? Feeling it. Can we feeling it tonight? You heard me? And what you're presenting is a feeling it type of situation. You feel me? So I want people to get financial literature. You know what I'm saying? But it's feeling it. You got to make it swag to it. Put a swag on it. Yeah.
Put some
For
swag.
people to want to tap in. Yeah. You heard about the Transparency Act that recently just happened? That's going on?
I may know, but I may not know about Transparency Act. Enlighten me.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull that up before I'll let you get loose. I just want to show this something I've seen recently take place. I wanted your opinion about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pull it up real quick for everybody to see. You know what I mean? I thought this was interesting. So, are you ready? The Corporate Transparency Act becomes effective January 1st in 2024. You know what I'm saying? It says the Corporate Transparency Act, called CTA, enacted in 2021, was passed to enhance transparency in entity structure and ownership to combat money laundering, tax fraud, and other illicit activities. You know what I'm saying? Slide down a little bit, yeah. All right, so the Corporate Transparency Act, again, that's what it's called, was enacted in 2021. But coming down here, it says the law was largely ignored by accounting professionals at first. However, the effective date of the Corporate Transparency Act is fast approaching on January 1st, 2024. And people are starting to panic. He says companies are looking for more information on the Corporate Transparency Act, how it affects their operations, and what the details of the reporting requirements are. This presents a unique opportunity for the accounting firms and tax accounting professionals to enhance their revenue streams by diversifying their service offerings. So you can slide down a little bit more for me. I want to get a little bit more, and I'm gonna let you tell me what you think. You know what I mean? Because it kind of goes into different situations. It says on who needs to file, just so everybody can see it. You know what I'm saying? Go up a little more to that whole part. Yeah. All right. So boom. This is who needs report. Reporting companies are identified as either domestic or foreign. Domestic reporting companies are corporations, LLPs, LLPs, or any other entity. I thought it was supposed to be LLC, but it got it down there anyway. So LLPs, I ain't gonna lie. But either way, or other entity created by the filing of a document with a Secretary of State or any similar office under the law of the state or Indian tribe. Foreign reporting companies are a corporation, LLCs, or other entity formed under the law of a foreign country that is registered to do business in any state or tribal jurisdiction by the filing of a document with the Secretary of State or any singular office. Sole proprietorship that don't use a single member LLC are not considered a reporting company. Reporting companies include, you can slide down one more time, God. And then I just want to give people this part and then let everybody see and let me know what you think. Because I could go through the whole thing, but I wanted you to tell me what you think. You know what I'm saying? Reporting companies typically include limited liability partnerships, limited liability, again, it said partnerships again, interesting. Limited, but that was, other one was, excuse me, business trust. Most limited partnerships where entities are generally created by a filing with the Secretary of State or similar office. So, exemptions include securities, issuers, domestic, governmental authorities, banks, and many more that don't fall into the above category. So I'm going to let you slide before I don't want to read nothing else. What you think about all that?
I don't know, because this is my first time hearing about it. I'm an LLC, so that wouldn't, and I'm a single member LLC. So that doesn't even deal with me at all. So it's that I'm not familiar with that. I don't know. It seems like there's some kind of tax implication depending on how your designation as a company, and there may be some tax implications, but I don't know exactly what they are. This is my first time kind of here. I think it's something like I heard this before some months back, but I'm not necessarily sure. So I can't really speak too much on it. But if you actually happen to be a LLP or you meet those requirements or that criteria, then it sounds like to me that there may be some extra tax implications involved with you when you go to file your taxes at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year. That's the only thing I can pull from it with that limited amount of information.
And with that, that's why I want people just to be prepared, unwrapping gifts. A lot of people might not know, see what I'm saying, because you're not in the position, but like you said, you don't have to worry about it. But some people might be, you know what I'm saying? Got LLCs and all sorts of stuff going on. And you might need to understand with the Transparency Act, might want to look into it a little bit more. You feel me? But I ain't going to, hold them for tonight. I just wanted to present that for everybody. Go back up real quick, guys, to show them just the top so everybody can go look it up for themselves when they get time, they're interested. Again, are you ready for the Corporate Transparency Act? All right, January 1st. Happy New Year. All right, boom. Ahead of time, see? Just let everybody know. I'm giving you a heads up. It's the least I could do. You know what I'm saying? Dude, goddamn. Yeah,
so it sounds like something that'll be on your taxes. When you go to file your taxes, this may be an item on your taxes if, in fact, this has something to do with how you formed your company.
Right, exactly. So that's why I want people to look into and just check into, because you never know. You know what I mean? So they won't be surprised. At least I told you. Message. You heard me? Yeah.
Right.
Message. Check your shit now. You heard me? Now, it's on you though, man. Finlet, man. Put them back on the stage, and we gonna get busy because of timing. I want to make sure everybody get this. So yeah, man. You want to explain Finlet and what you've been doing, and then obviously you can get the screen and present how you want. Let us know. It's on you.
Yeah, so basically, like last time I told you, Finlit is really to be able to try to galvanize Black people, anybody, but mainly Black people, around the thought of having financial literacy. And this is something that we have to have for the rest of our life. It's not something that we put on for 1 second and then we just throw off and then we move on to other things. We work too hard for a living, and we're trying to create this type of traction so we can be able to take care of our families. So we're trying to create the traction within our careers, within our businesses, so we can get the money that we need to have. And then what are we going to do with the money? Do we know how to have this money work for us? So financial literacy is something that we should be discussing daily. And when we get together in our groups, it should be a part of our conversations. It shouldn't be something that we just put off, or it has to be this one designated time that we talk about financial literacy. Because like I said before, majority of the time that we spend in our lives is working. We're working for someone, we're working for ourselves, and we're trying to get this money. So if we don't have financial literacy, we don't know what we're doing. So I'm going to explain a lot of different things here. I got a lot of different videos. What I did in the beginning is that I actually, when we came into Finlit, I've actually taken some of the information and I've put it into like a little quiz. So when you first came in, I gave you a little quiz, and it gave, let me see if I can share my screen here. I gave you a quiz. So I'm just going to share the quiz with you real quick. And you see that where it says Finlit 2, the paradigm shift? Can you see that?
Yeah. We see it now. Boom.
Okay. So one of the first questions, what
It's
is the
small.
debt?
Can you make it bigger? On your side, it's kind of small.
Make it bigger?
For some
Okay.
people like me, cataracts and shit. Yeah, there we go.
See it?
Yeah, we in the
Okay.
game.
All right. So the first question was, what is a debt snowball? So now what I'm going to ask you, I'm going to switch back to the screen here. What I'm going to ask you is that I want you to be able to, who in the studio right now? Kofi, Pierre, Blaze?
Yeah, that's it.
All of them. Okay. So I want y'all to participate in this. So I ain't here solo. When I ask questions, give me a couple of answers. All right? Because
you heard?
I've been here already. So this right here, you don't have to answer, but when we get into the presentation, I want to see some answers. So what is a debt snowball?
Audience too.
Right. Combining all your debt, paying your debt with the smallest amount first, accumulated debt during the winter season, paying your debt with the highest interest rate first. So these are some of the questions that I asked. I'll go over the questions later, the answers later, but I just want you to get an idea where it is. So the next question was 60%, 67% of Americans don't have $400 to cover an unexpected expense. Is that true or is that false? So now the next question is examples of discretionary spending. You needed to know what discretionary spending was in order for you to get this right. Choose all that apply. So the rent, iPad, food, gambling, and travel, you get to select your answer from there. What is a debt avalanche? Now, debt avalanche is debt snowball. I went over debt snowball as the first question. These are things that you need to know because this is how you approach your debt. All right, so those are some answers there. You get to pick for those answers. Examples of non-discretionary spending. So you get to choose all that is applied. So this is non-discretionary spending. It's a Netflix, utilities, spa, visit, gas, home renovation, and you get to choose all that apply. So now in financial survival mode, the top priority is securing essentials for survival, such as food, clean water, housing, and clothing. These necessities take precedence over discretionary spending or non-essential purchases. Is that true or false? Here, you're going to select some reasons for using your emergency fund. You're going to check all that apply. Do you use it for car repairs, medical emergency, to go on a couples cruise, concert tickets, to give a friend or family member a loan? True or false question. Over half of Americans don't have an emergency fund. Is it true or false? What are some of the things we must avoid with exercising financial patience and discipline? Check all that apply. So you'll see here, and we see you got 4: societal norms, peer pressure, delayed gratification, impulse spending, and continuous learning. So now how can individuals improve their financial literacy? You got a couple of answers to choose from here. I'm just not going to go through them because I want to kind of get into the presentation. And what are the 3 pillars of holistic financial literacy? What holistic financial literacy is, and anything you put holistic in, is that we're going to deal with the human side of it. So some of the human side of financial literacy is financial knowledge, financial skills, financial behaviors, income, expenses, and assets, savings, investment, retirements, budgeting, debt, and credit. The answer is the first one, but this is how we deal with financial literacy, and we have a holistic approach. So now what does a holistic financial literacy encompass? So it's a comprehensive understanding of all financial aspects. That's some of the things I'm going to cover in this presentation. And then I asked everyone, did they have a brokerage account? Because I wanted to understand, because we go into FinLit 3, this was the second edition, I wanted to go into investing. And if you didn't have a brokerage account, I'm going to walk everybody through on how to open one of those up, how to set it up, and then we'll make our first trade together. So let me see if I'm sharing the right screen here. Let me get the other screen up. And stop that. And let me get the other screen. And now we'll get into the FinLit presentation. So now this is the FinLit presentation. Go full screen on it. So this is the behavior paradigm shift. So what we have here is a behavior paradigm shift because we want to change our behaviors. A lot of times what we're doing is we don't change our behaviors. We think just because we have a certain amount of knowledge, it didn't change what we do, and then therefore we do the same thing. So now we get into it. I did a recap. So in FinLit 1, we had the Social Security program was running out. Excuse me, by 2034, Social Security runs out of reserves. 2034, in year 2034. So that's what, 12 years from now. So we'll only pay out 77% of benefits. 2, home ownership. Home ownership has been the quickest way to build wealth in this country. We talked about the Social Security Administration. If you go there, ssa.gov, you're going to see the difference between your minimum, full, and delayed benefits for Social Security. Rent versus home ownership. capital appreciation, wealth accumulation. Home equity makes up 76% of people's net worth. We talked about that in the first Finlay. This is just a recap. So number 5, my retirement story. We went over my retirement story. We used the income calculator to determine how much money I would need to retire at a certain age. And then last but not least, savings by age. We went over how much money you should have saved by a certain age group and the multiples of income depending on your salary. So that's just a recap. And then we went into the actual presentation. So the holistic approach is about behavior. So handling your money is mostly about behavior. It's 90% determined by your actions and only 10% determined by math. So it's 90-10, 90 behavior, 10% math. Many of these behaviors are shaped by money misconceptions and poor financial habits and a lack of financial knowledge. Often we stick to the old rules and principles that we learned in the past, and even if it no longer fits our current circumstances, we still stick with that. So that's a problem. That's why we need a paradigm shift. So in order to improve our financial well-being, we need to shift our behavior and adopt a new mindset towards money and financial education. So now that 90%, 10% math, this is how that breaks down. The 90% behavior aspect of money management involves a wide range of actions and attitudes like misconceptions about money, spending habits, savings and investing, debt management, financial goals, emergency funds, lifestyle inflation, lack of financial education, bad financial habits. Now the 10% is so small, and this really consists of budgeting, calculated interest, and understanding investment returns. So you get a lot of people say, well, I don't know about money because I ain't good with math. Well, you don't really need a lot of math. And most of the math you can do on a calculator. So you don't even have to be that savvy to do it in your head. Use a calculator. So there's really no excuse for that. So let's start with the first misconception of money. Income solves all problems. More income won't solve your financial problems until you address the root cause of your problems. There's a reason why 49% of Americans making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. It's known as lifestyle creep, or we call it lifestyle inflation. This is where your spending matches your income. In simple terms, as your income goes up, so does your spending. So for instance, if you earn $150,000 a year, but you're spending more than that every year. So that's called lifestyle creep, lifestyle inflation. And that's what keeps a lot of people, even though they're making a lot of money, they're high income earners, they're still broke because they started to increase their lifestyle. And therefore, you're still in the same situation. Number 2 is that I'm too young to start saving for retirement. You get this a lot. People say, oh, I don't have to start. I'm 40 years old. I don't have to start saving. Remember, retirement is not an age. It is a monetary number. When you reach your number, you decide if you want to work, travel, or spend more time with your family. The earlier you start, the more time you'll have to achieve your goal. The earlier, the better. So now peep this. If you had $10 million right now, you would retire without question. So it's a monetary number, not an age. If you had the money to live the life you wanted to right now, you wouldn't go to work. So miss me with that, oh, I'm too young, I don't need to start worrying about that. When I get 50, I'll start worrying about that. If you had enough money, you'll retire today. So why not make the choice to try to get yourself in that position so you can retire early and not make it an age, but more so a monetary number. So now we go to number 3. Investing is only for the wealthy. These are all misconceptions that a lot of people have in their head, and it keeps them from being able to invest and have this financial literacy. Some believe that investing is only for the wealthy or those with significant financial knowledge. In reality, anyone can start investing with even a small amount of money in the right guidance. On the next slide, I'm going to show you how a man with only a high school diploma, making only $12 an hour, has grown his portfolio from $0 to $500,000. So let's take a look at that.
Not long ago, but everyone here calls him Mr. Earl.
Yeah, we can talk about some finance.
He's worked as an attendant at this parking lot in Baltimore for 44 years.
So you really think it's going to improve the gas?
Funny thing, though, everyone was asking Mr. Earl about money.
Nickel and dime, nickel and dime.
That's right.
Is that booth his pulpit where he's preaching the gospel of investing?
Sure is. He makes my day every time I see him.
Oh, come on now. Seriously. Investing?
How you like that gold now?
607.
Earl told me he's never made more than $12 an hour. Never earned more than $20,000 a year.
How you doing?
So how could he know something about corporate profits? I had to pry.
So Earl, what's your net worth?
$500,000.
$500,000
$500,000
from working here.
Working here.
That's amazing.
alleged statement.
And there it is in his statements, over $500,000 net worth on a parking lot wage. Now Mr. Earl had my full attention. How did he do it?
Stop working so hard and let the money work for you.
Economics aside, Earl had another obstacle to overcome. He tells me he's dyslexic. Back in the 50s, that meant settling for a life of low-wage manual labor jobs. So Earl figured he'd better sock away what little money he was making. It was just $1 here and $1 there, starting with savings stamps, and that led to savings bonds. At 26, he got married. And by the late 60s, Earl was feeding 3 children on a meager $80 a week.
It was tough, but because we had to sacrifice a lot.
As the years rolled by, Earl kept saving what seemed like meaningless amounts. He started investing $25 each month into a mutual fund and did that consistently for 15 years. By the late 70s, his net worth was $25,000.
Later, as the children got older, he decided to play the stock market. And he bought 1 share, and, well, the rest is history.
He bought stock in blue chips like IBM and Coca-Cola that paid dividends, and
instead of taking the dividends and pocketing it, let it set or let it reinvest itself, and it increased my shares. And the more shares I had, the more dividend I had. Eventually, the more money I had down the road.
So where did the so-called slow learner learn so much about mutual funds and blue chips and dividend reinvestment plans?
We're going to split this year.
It all comes back to that parking lot. And this is my favorite part of Earl's story. You see, his lot is smack dab in the middle of a financial district where he picked the brains of brokers and bankers and lawyers for their financial advice.
What's going on? You got any advice for me today in the markets?
I'm just trying to find out something from you.
All right.
Talk to everybody and listen to advice that everybody give me and take it from there.
Earl, why don't we take a look at what you've got in the portfolio now?
Earl had trouble reading, so instead, he listened. He believed in the power of compound interest and stocks for the long haul, which brings us back to the present. Today, Earl's stock portfolio alone is worth more than $500,000. And yes, his house is paid for. And no, he doesn't carry any credit card debt. Now, Earl is paying it forward. He's gifting shares from his portfolio to people like Brenda Thomas, who never dreamed they could have enough money to invest.
And that was Coca-Cola. Because you told me to reinvest my dividends, I now have 77 shares. Oh, I'm excited about it. I wouldn't have it if it wasn't for Mr. Earl. And he made it so easy.
If you don't have the money for the
And
whole
not
share,
only is he gifting shares to a local church, he's starting an investment club there to get everyone investing.
Our goal is every member of the church will own stock. And then they're going to transfer into their family members. So
it makes me feel good to see someone actually going on and took my advice and went on and did it. That's really a good feeling.
So from his little green shack, Earl is helping others and preaching the gospel of investment.
I always used to say that I must have been the dumbest thing in school or the dumbest thing to couldn't learn, but God gave me the gift to listen and act behind it, and it's one of the best things I ever had to me.
Tough.
So now let's think about Earl Crowley. Earl had a learning disability. He didn't worry about the math. I told you it's only 10% math. It's 90% behavior. He was focused on the financial behaviors. He ended up mortgage free. He had no debt. He invested $25 over 15 years consistently. He reinvested the dividends and the profit. So he never took profit. He just kept reinvesting over those years. He formed a group and shared his knowledge. And then he even gifted stocks. And he left you with a gem. Stop working so hard and let the money work for you. That's what happened when you invest in. The money's working for you. That's how you start to create passive income. Just working and putting your money in there, it's not going to help you. But if you start investing your money, the money's going to start to work for you. So now you can see Earl Crowley's, obviously wasn't the smartest guy in high school, didn't, get high marks, but he learned a lesson because he was able to control his behavior. That's what we're going to be focused on, is the behaviors, because that's what's going to get us in line with our goals. So here's a simple example of a budget. You got $4,000 a month, fixed expenses. You got your rent, your mortgage, utilities is 2 G's. Variable expenses, groceries and dining out is 1,200. You're saving 500. Emergency fund is 300. Now, the question that I asked everyone that was at the Finlet, how many of us have a budget? So now we got Blaze, we got Pierre, we got Kofi. How many of you guys got a budget? Anybody
I
here
think
got a
everybody,
budget?
you got a budget, right, Pierre? Kind of. You got a budget? I got a budget. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, cool. So we got 3 people, 2 people got a budget, 3 people got a budget.
Yeah, Blaze
So
in the
now,
other room right now. He in the other room behind us. So I don't know
okay.
if he, you right though.
Here's some of the 5 best budgeting methods. So we got the traditional budget, what I just showed you on the previous page. That's tracking and categorizing all your expenses. Then you got the 50, 30, 20 budget.
He got a budget. Blaze coming.
All right,
Blaze, okay,
that's what's up.
All right.
You gotta have something, you gotta have a plan, man. So the 50-30 budget divides your income into 3 categories: housing, wants, and your savings. Now pay yourself first. That's what I use. It's gonna prioritize your savings before you pay your bills. It's best for businesses or people self-employed. And then we have those digital budgeting apps, which is like Mint and Rocket Money. I use Mint and Rocket Money. I played around with them just so I could see what it was all about. I think it'll help a lot of people who can't put it down on paper, or they can't use the Excel spreadsheets. They could just use the Mint and Rocket Money. You're gonna plug in your bank accounts, and this way you'll be able to set certain categories, and you'll know exactly what you're spending. It'll do everything for you. So it's really no excuse. Now, the one that we focus on was the behavioral budgeting. It's all about getting to know you and improve your spending habits. It involves recognizing the things that make you spend impulsively and discovering smarter ways to achieve financial stability. So it's about you once again, because you're the person, you're the thing that's in the way of you actually getting financial freedom and achieving your goals. It's you, not making more money. Of course, you want to make more money, but if you don't do the right things, then you're never going to achieve that. So it's all about you. And behavioral budgeting is one of the most important things there. So now we went over SMART. Now, SMART is an acronym, SMART. That stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. You're going to hear this, and this can be applied to anything you do. So this is not going to be the first time you hear this. So SMART budgeting, it helps to create better financial plans. SMART budgeting is specific. That's what S stands for. Your financial goals should be clear, well-defined. Instead of just saying, man, I just want to save some money. Be specific and say, I want to save $500 a month. It's measurable. Make sure you can track your progress. So an example above, you can easily measure that you're saving $500 a month or not. If you're not saving it, then you can't measure it, then you're not doing it. So it's achievable. That's the A. Ensure that your financial goals are realistic and attainable within your current financial situation. Setting overly ambitious goals can lead to frustration. R is for relevant. Your financial goals should align with your overall financial objectives. They should make sense in the context of your life and financial planning. 5, which is time bound, that's the T in SMART. You're setting a deadline for achieving your financial goals. So for instance, I want to save $500 a month. Remember before, we're setting how much we want and then how long we want to get it. So this way is measurable. We're not just saying, yeah, man, I want to save some money, and then we never actually create a plan for ourselves, because you're not going to do it. You're just saying it, but it's not measurable, and you're definitely not specific. So by applying the SMART budgeting principles, you can create a more focused and effective budget that helps you manage your money and work towards specific financial goals. The psychology behind this method is to encourage clarity, motivation, accountability in your financial planning. And it's very important. Like, once again, you can apply this SMART concept to anything, but this is being applied to budgeting. SMART is an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So this way we're keeping ourselves in line with our goals. So now our first step is to look where we stand financially right now. You got to know where you're starting from in order to know where you're going. We're going to start with bank accounts. So now you need to have at least 3 bank accounts. Having all your money piled into one account can be confusing, and it's really difficult to create parameters for your budgeting when your bills, your savings, and your spending is done out of one account. So first is your main account. That's your main checking account. That's where your direct deposit, you pay your bills out of that account, you do money transfers to these other 2 accounts. The second is your HISA. HISA is an acronym. It stands for High Yield Savings Account. Excuse me. And that's what's going to have your emergency fund. We use Discover and Ally. Those are the banks that we rock with. They're giving you 4+% interest every single month that they're paying. I think they're at 4.2 right now. Investment on your money. So you put $1,000 in there, you're going to get 4% return on your money, APY, annual percentage yearly. So now that third account is your recurring. That's going to be an account for just miscellaneous stuff. You know, you have a little extra every month. You got your high yield savings account. Your emergency fund is stacked. So you got a little extra money. You put it in there in case you want to do some traveling or for an unexpected traffic ticket. You know, the birthdays every year. You have children. You got 3 or 4 children. You got birthdays, and then you got your friend birthdays, and then your mama and everybody else. Put a little money in there for that. If you do celebrate Christmas, that's another place that you can put some money. And a lot of reoccurring expenses, like your insurance gets paid, you know, every 6 months or once a year, and any loans that you have that you may pay on, that's where you want to pull it out your recurring. So we got the 3 accounts. You got your main, your HISA, your high yield savings account, and you got your recurring. You keep those 3 accounts separate, and this is how you start to kind of really prepare yourself to kind of start putting your money in the right place. So this way you have it all categorized. It's easier when you have 3 accounts versus having that one account, everything goes in there. Or what they do traditionally, they give you the checking and they give you the savings account. And then the savings account, which is standard bank like Chase or Bank of America, they're not paying you any interest. So you need a high yield savings account. Don't put any money in the savings with that checking account they give you for free. You want to be able to get a high yield savings account. So this way some of your money's working for you. So now you only need 2 credit cards. I see a lot of people have all these different credit cards. You know, some of our friends would go out, they got these 6, 7, 8 credit cards, and I don't know, I think they think it's cute, but it's really confusing. So now we like Chase Freedom and we like Chase Sapphire. So the Freedom, that's for everyday expenses. And you know, most of the time it's a credit limit of $5,000 or less. And this is for your everyday expenses like your gas, your groceries, your liquor, your cell phone. If you're going to dine out, purchases under $500. We use a Chase Sapphire for the bigger purchases. Usually it has a credit limit of $15,000 or greater. And that's if you got to replace your HVAC for your house. You need some new appliances. You're going on a big vacation or it's a major car repair. Those are for purchases over $2,500. So now we want to send all our spending through these 1 or 2 credit cards. New charges will be paid within 2 to 15 days. We're not waiting 30 days and keeping a balance and paying it every 30 days. We're paying it right when it hits when we look online and we see the money on there, we see that there's a balance, we pay it immediately. Your reward points will have more value if you use them for travel. In most cases, they're going to give you 20% more value for travel. So if you spend $1,000, if you use it for travel, the points that they give you off that, they'll give you $1,200 or 1,200 points in travel instead of 1,000. So like for instance, for my birthday and Tia's birthday, we went to Jamaica and we also went to Mexico. Both of those trips totaling about $12,000 actually were paid 100% with credit card reward points. We spent no out of pocket at all, from the flight to the baggage to the actual lodging and everything else that was included in the trip. And that's all reward points. So if you send all your spending through these cards, you're going to accumulate a lot of points and then you can start to use those for different things. So now this is the incorrect way to use your reward points. Let's say you bought $1,000 concert tickets and you paid it off over 6 months, meaning that you didn't just pay it off instantly, you wanted to pay it off over time. You will end up paying $14.90 per month in interest, totaling $84. So in the end, your cost will be $1,084. Even with $10 cash back, you still spent $1,074. You got $10 cash back, but you did it $1,084. So that means that you pay $74 more than the initial cost, which cancels out the benefit of earning reward points. If you're financing on that credit card and they gave you points, those points are obsolete. So you have to take that in consideration. That's not the correct way to use your reward points. So now we want to leave the debit card at home. You're using credit cards. We're sending everything through those 1 or 2 credit cards. We're going to leave the debit card at home. Debit card offers no fraud protection. People have direct access to your bank account. They find your debit card and they just hit the jackpot. And another thing is too, is that it's really hard for you to be able to dispute that when somebody uses your debit card, because most people have to use a PIN number. So if they use your debit card, the banks are more reluctant to give you your cash back if you came back to file a dispute. There are no pre-authorized holds. You can't use a debit card to go rent a car or hold a hotel and do a deposit. They're just not going to accept a debit card. And once again, there's no reward points. You're getting no rewards So you're just using your cash and that's it. You're not getting anything back in return. And because it's linked directly to your checking account, it comes with overdraft fees. So why would you want to use something and the next thing you know, you're not money managing your money right, and then you go and swipe the card and you didn't have enough money. Now you're paying a $30 overdraft fee. And
On
last,
top.
it doesn't build your credit history. So with the credit cards, the more you use it, it's showing use and it's showing that you pay back your debt on time. So it's showing credit card usage. You're building your credit history. With a debit card, you're doing none of the above. So that's why you want to leave the debit card at home. I don't even carry it unless I go places that I think I may need to use it. Other than that, I don't use a debit card at all, because if you lose it, it's a jackpot for them. So now the reason that we want credit over debit is because we can combine the points for multiple cards. I can take my Capital One, my Chase, my Citi. I can take those points and I can combine them in order for me to go on a vacation, or I can use it for a cash back or a statement credit, which I just used the other day. I got cash back. I was just telling Mac that. I just say, hey man, you know what? Send me that money back to my checking account. You can use it for gift cards or merchandise. Every week I take my wife out to dinner and we go 100% free. We use a gift card because I've used the points on my credit card, and we send that directly to the gift card. And then I go out to these restaurants and I just flash the gift card. You can also get merchandise. I brought my air fryer with reward points. You can also transfer those points. So you can transfer it over to another card. And the one that I like the best is that you get sign-up bonuses. At one point or another, my wife and I, what we were doing is that I would sign up for a card, and then I would send her a referral, and then she would do the referral. I would get points on my card because she signed up. She would get sign-up bonuses, and then she would send me one, and we just kept playing the game. Before we know it, we both had over 200,000 points, which is the equivalent at over $2,000 in reward in actual dollars. So we use that once again, vacation, or do whatever we want to do.
That sounds better than the goddamn casino.
Exactly. And that's why you want to use that. So to kind of give you a little bit of the back scene of this whole thing, the way that you're creating these points is because for people who do not pay off their credit cards and they keep financing, they're paying finance charges. You paying those finance charges is giving me the ability to get these reward points. See, I don't pay any finance charges. So therefore I charge and I get money back. So like for instance, if I threw $1,000 and they say it's $1 for every point, okay, they've given me 1,000 points. That 1,000 points is equivalent to $10. So if I spend 1,000, I really only spent $990 because I got $10 back. And that's how you kind of got to look at it. So you're actually saving money. You can put it in your pocket, or you can use the gift cards, which once again saves you money and allows you to go do things without spending your actual cash. So the credit card reward points have real value. You will not pay interest on your credit card if you pay off the balance once the charge appears online, or if you pay within 15 days of the charge or before the billing cycle. Remember, the key is not to pay interest. Because we earn reward points without paying interest, we lowered our overall cost of each purchase by approximately 3% overall. So over a year, you will see that you save 3% on every purchase that you made with your credit card. Now, that's a great incentive for you to use your credit card and pay it off, because you're going to be saving money, and then it has a reward as an incentive for you. Now, what we did is I say we're going to take the credit card oath. I will not make minimum payments on credit cards. You pay it off. I will commit to a debt repayment plan. I will allocate extra funds towards debt reduction. I will avoid accruing more debt, and I will not finance items I cannot afford. Right now, America's credit card debt is through the roof. The last time I looked at it, we were at $33 trillion. All right. $1 trillion in credit card debt. The national deficit is a little over 33 trillion. So you look at the credit card debt is almost about to rival the actual national deficit. And this is why you see so many people go on vacations and they got the new car and they got the new clothes and they got the big purse and the new shoe, because they're actually financing it and they're financing debt. And this is why we can go on the concerts and go out of town and do all these crazy stuff, because it's all on the credit card. And we're going to be a slave to that credit card, most likely for the next 10 plus years, because we're not paying it off. Now, the golden rule of personal finance is all about keeping it simple. It's not complicated. Like I say, it's 10% math. Spend less than you earn and then invest. So how much should you really be saving? There's really no one fits all kind of answer to that. What matters most is the percentage of your income you save. That's what we call your savings rate. How much of your paycheck you tuck away each week. So for example, if you make $1,000 a week and you save $100, your savings rate is at 10%. So now here we have an example of two different savings rates. We have person A, they have a 10% savings rate, and person B has a 30% savings rate. So now their annual income is $100,000. If you look at their savings rate, you'll see in year 10, you'll see $100,000. $300,000 for 30%, and for year 20, you're looking at 200,000, and person B has 600,000. So you can see there's a big difference depending on how much money you save on how quick you're going to be able to reach your goal. That's your savings rate, 30% versus 10. So now let's look at the same numbers adjusted with the cost of inflation. Inflation is a rate at which price in goods and services rise over time. Here's our adjusted cost. If you see here, you'll see that 20 years, we had $150,000 for person A, and for person B, we have $472,000. So although you see $600,000 in the bank, you say, yeah, I'm doing good, I'm balling. You only have $472,000 worth of goods and services. If you do the math, you lost 23% over 20 years just by letting your money sit there. That's what the cost of inflation. Inflation rate is about 3.7 right now. It's a little lower than when I made this presentation, but it's at 3.7% inflation rate. This is the stuff they don't teach you about money in school, because most people say, oh, I got $600,000 in the bank, but over 20 years, you lost 23% of your value. So you really got 472. So 600,000 would only buy you a house or buy you worth 472,000 worth of goods. Big difference. So now before the pandemic, inflation was at a modest 2.2% interest rate. But the pandemic hit and both inflation and spending went down. So to stimulate the economy during the lockdowns, stimulus checks were given, and that encouraged spending. So we had stimulate the economy, so we issue stimulus checks. Stimulate stimulus checks, if you get it. Encouraging spending and raising inflation. Other things like the Ukraine war and other global events led to more money printed. Printing more money affects consumers indirectly by increasing the money supply and reducing the value of the currency. Inflating the money supply, that's why we call it inflation, and now it's going up to 3.7%, and it's been as much as 8.2% in the last year. That's why you see everything going up, because of about a little over a year ago, inflation was at 8.2%. That's why your interest rates are like that. If you look right now, you go to buy a car, 2 years ago, you would get interest rate 0%, 1%, 1.99, and now you're going to get a car, it's at 7 to 8+%. Some people are paying 12, 15%. And even now, when you go get a home, you're at 7 to 8% for a home, compared to when the pandemic and right before the pandemic, you had 1%, 3% interest rates. Big difference. That's taking a lot of your spending power, and you have to pay more for the same amount of goods. You're paying more for the same goods. So now, how do we beat or deal with inflation? Here, I show the performance of one of my brokerage accounts year to date. As you can see, I peaked at around 210% in Q4, quarter 4, 2021. Now, I'm averaging about 150% return on my investment. This is simple math. You take my return and you subtract the current inflation rate, you'll see how much I'm beating inflation. So now in the next slide, I'll show you one of the best assets that you can use to beat inflation, because we want to beat inflation. If not, our money was losing spending power. So this is even better than the stock market. So now Bitcoin outpaces every major stock market index and has a 100% return year to date, and has been the best performing asset of the decade. I'm going to say it again. It's been the best performing asset of the decade. Nothing's beat Bitcoin. Ultimately, Bitcoin is an effective hedge against inflation, and is one of the best ways to preserve your wealth as a store of value. So I'll go into the why behind Bitcoin at a later time. I'm going to do another presentation on that separately, because it needs its own presentation for you to soak up the value of it and what it really is all about. I want us to maintain our focus on the financial behaviors, and we'll do that in the next session, and I'll bring that to you guys when that's complete. So now, why should Black people invest? Now, we're going to get specific here. Only 34% of Blacks in America own at least one stock. Blacks only hold 4% of wealth in America. We know that slavery happened and other factors created a major wealth gap here in America, but we're still not building any mechanisms of wealth, and we're lagging far behind other groups. We're either going to participate or become a permanent underclass. And it seems like we're kind of going a permanent underclass way, because we're not having those discussions. So to place emphasis on why it's so important for us to invest, I grabbed a short clip from one of my mentors, Dr. Anderson, got a nice name. He will explain why it's important for Black people to invest. Dr. Anderson is a businessman, educator. He's an author, political strategist. He's also the president of Powernomics, the founder of the Black think tank, the Harvest Institute. He's also the former Secretary of Commerce under President Carter and former state coordinator of education here in Florida. So I think he knows what he's talking about. Give a listen.
The stock market came into existence again to be able to funnel through and be a major foundation for what we call unearned income. See, slavery was based on unearned income, where you had a political, economic, social system was set up in this country that would use Black labor to be able to generate wealth, comfort, and enrichment for a majority white society. And consequently, the primary generator of wealth in this country was the back of a slave. A white person owned a slave, he'd have to do anything but sit at home, wait for the slave to come back to bring back the money and the wealth. And so that's what's called unearned income. The value was at $1,500 for a good slave across the nation. That's where the wealth was. But when slavery ended, the United States found that they had invested over $8 billion just in slavery in this country. That was more money invested in slavery than in all the government buildings and all the business put together. That was the biggest investment in this country, was the back of a slave and slavery itself. And so when slavery ended, and no longer was the price of cotton and tea and indigo and rice and tobacco regulated off the back of a slave, because the slave was no longer available. So then they moved it over to Wall Street. A commodity switched from off the back of a slave, it switched to Wall Street. But here's one last point, is that now, as far as Blacks are concerned, Blacks should get involved in anything that would create unearned income. And unearned income off of Wall Street can be broken down into many categories. It can be stuff like rental incomes for commercial property or residential property, tenants and everything else. It can be covered by stocks, bonds. It can be coming from all things from corporate credits and dividends, or profits from selling products and owning shares in a corporation. That is unearned income. But the problem is that, see, nothing has changed for Black folks since 1860, except on the eve of the Civil War. Almost nearly 100% of all the resources in this country, the wealth in this country had been maldistributed into the hands of the dominant white society. That means that they had maldistributed 2 billion acres of free land. White folks didn't buy the land. All that land you see now running from Maine to San Diego, they didn't buy it. Their ancestors got it free. And in that land with all the gas, the oil, the gold, the silver, the chrome, the bauxite, the magnesium, and everything is in it. They got it free. Church. And that has been passed on from one white generation to the next. And it's been doubling and tripling in value every 20 to 30 years. They got it. And so they don't have to work. They got it. They got the value there. Then also, that slavery also transferred all the businesses and income, rights and privileges, and controls of the levels of government into the hands of the dominant white society. Wealth building, businesses, and income is associated with white skin, and it stayed in their groups. Now, when they say we're going to turn Black folk free, and we now set up Wall Street, we're going to set you Black slaves free, and we're going to go to Wall Street. We're going to turn you loose. We're going to turn loose 4.5 million Black folk. No land, no businesses, no horses, no animals, no food, no family, no house, no institutions, no education, nothing. But no guns and no weapons. Now you all go out there and defend yourselves and be productive. Now we've set up Wall Street now, and y'all are free.
So now they set up Wall Street and we're free now. So this is a call for action. It's for us to take advantage of the financial opportunities that are available. Our ancestors were property and their owners control all their finances. But today we stand in a world of opportunities. It's true, many of us have bad financial behaviors that hold us back. We're not fully tapping into the wealth building potential that previous generations fought for. The beauty of our time is that we now have an open door to invest in without restrictions. There are no barriers preventing us from investing in our future right now. So let's remember the struggle of those that came before us and use their legacy as inspiration. Here I have this picture, and you can do it on your own research, but this is actually in front of Wall Street. This is New York Municipal Slave Market. And what they're doing is they're telling you how they had to establish a slave market, because they had it was half of all the citizens that were walking around New York City and Manhattan were slaves. And white people started getting a little uneasy because everywhere they went, 50% of the people you seen were slaves. And they thought that because they were having revolts at that time, that black people were going to have an uprising. So what they did is they had something called a slave market, and they developed that on Wall Street. And slaves did build that wall, was called Wall Street. It was also a place where they protected themselves when ships came in to protect themselves from war. And that also became a marketplace. And that's what a slave market was, right in that area. They wanted slaves to go there, and they would meet there before they were able to be sent out on their jobs. So this way they made white people look, made them feel more comfortable with black people being in society. Now back to behavioral finance. Behavioral finance is a field of study that combines psychology and finance to understand how people make financial decisions. It recognizes that people are not always rational and that our emotions and our biases can influence our financial behavior. Instead of making the most efficient decisions, we make the most satisfactory decisions. So in short, behavioral finance is about understanding the human side of finance, and that's pretty much what it is. We're going to look at ourselves and try to understand ourselves a little bit better so we can make better decisions. So now it's time for a little bit of trivia, and I'm going back to the audience. What is the most flexible bill in the household? Anybody got any answers? The most flexible bill in the household.
What's your most flexible bill?
What's the most flexible bill? If you're in the chat, you can throw an answer in there. I'll give you
Yeah, you in the chat, right. You in the chat. Give us what's your most flexible bill? Got it, Green? Go.
Any answer? Anybody can throw out anything. When we was in the group, people were saying the light bill. I heard somebody. Anybody saying something? No?
Flexible, what you mean? Can we ask you what flexible means?
You mean flexible? What you mean by flexible?
So now you got a lot of bills you pay every single month. Which bill is the most flexible? Which bill do you have some leeway where you can kind of do something that changes how much it's going to be every single month? You have an opportunity to change it. It's flexible.
What y'all got in the audience?
All your bills. You got your cell phone bill. You got your light bill. You got your car note and all these different things. Which one is the most flexible? You probably never gave it much thought. That's why I'm gonna enlighten you real quick. So, okay. So this is what the most flexible bill is. The answer is food. We're shifting from impulsive buying to thoughtful spending. So you
got that one. It's a vegetarian. He's supposed to know that.
Exactly. So you can reduce your food cost by 30% if you just bring a shopping list with you to the store. So now if a family of 4 spends $1,000 a month, they can save around $275 a month or $3,300 a year. This money could go towards your savings or investing, which is especially helpful if you're on a tight budget. Now, the key takeaways is that you're going to have fewer trips to the store, which is going to prevent you to make impulse buys. It's going to reduce those last minute purchases, and then it's going to make meal planning even easier, and it leads to healthier choices. When you go in the store and you don't know what you want to get and you just start grabbing stuff, usually you don't buy stuff that's very healthy and you spend more money. So you make a lot of impulse buys. So if you have a plan, which is your shopping list, it's going to make it easier. So now if you
I want to say this real quick in
go
the
ahead.
chat, right? Love on Purpose said entertainment. That was her answer out the chat. No, I was also crazy enough because I myself, going out to eat is entertainment. But at the same time, you know what I mean? But food, funny enough, that's so it's like because you got to plan what you're going to eat at the house and also what you eat out. As you just said earlier, like how you and you and your wife, Tia, y'all go out and you know what I'm saying? And y'all, you know what I'm saying? Use your credit card to your leveraging, you know what I'm saying? You're using points and stuff like that for your entertainment. So you know what I mean? Convenience. You know what I mean? But shout out to her in the audience. She said entertainment.
Yeah, love
Pierre,
on
what you
purpose.
say?
Love on purpose is on point because entertainment, that's one of those things that we do. That's exactly what happens. That's one of the things that we use. That's the discretionary spending. That's what we do. We go in entertainment and we can't get that money back. And we want to, dang man, our money getting messed up. But you got to watch the entertainment budget. It's nothing wrong with having an entertainment budget because we like to have fun and we're gonna go do our things. But you have to be realistic. If you're gonna put money for that, you got to put money for saving and budgeting too.
You gotta have saving too, right? You gotta have your priorities in order.
That's how you're living.
Yeah, you gotta be. We trying to be finlit over here, right?
Exactly.
That's gonna be the new term in 2024. We trying to be finlit. Some trying to talk about health and everything. We want to be finlit. You know what I'm saying? Strong. Go ahead, dude.
So now here's some facts about impulse spending. Over 80% of purchases and purchase influence are made by women. By the year 2028, women will own 75% of discretionary spending. Women outnumber men in impulse buying, and men spend double the amount than women do on impulse buying. So now, although men spend double the amount of impulse buys, women have more frequent purchases, and they control the majority of the cash flow in the household. So the numbers don't lie. If your household struggles with budgeting, it may be best to start with a person who controls most of the household spending, which majority of the time is the woman. So if you have a problem with your budget, you may want to look at it may be a dude, you may be the man and you control most of it, but most of the time it's a woman who controls most of the household spending. And if you're a little off centered, you may need to look at the woman and say, hey, what are we doing here? And the first place you want to start is with your groceries. And that's the first thing that's something that's flexible, and you can start to cut that down and find ways to spend your money wisely and put more money in your pocket.
Groceries.
What's that?
No, groceries. I mean, and the fact that and eating out, and the fact that you said that women usually are controlling these things. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's definitely mine to this. You know,
right. They buy the groceries. They buy the toiletries. They buy most of the stuff that's in your household. They buy the paper. They buy majority of the stuff. The stuff that you have in your household, that the woman has brought that into the household. So they control the majority of the cash flow.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's how I've seen it.
Right.
Shit. Shout out to the matriarchs out there. They say a house is not a home without a woman in it. That's what they mean by it. Usually. Because, you know, us, man, we go out things. You know what I mean? Niggas, we would go out without things. You hear me? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Good.
exactly.
I see you next
They're
week.
going to bring stuff into the home. They're going to make it a home. It's a house, but it ain't a home.
Right, exactly. So, man, shout out to the ladies out there.
So we
go
move
ahead,
from
man.
debt accumulation to debt management. So I talked about a debt avalanche and a debt snowball. Those are very common strategies when you start to talk about financial literacy. So now the two common strategies for managing debt avalanche, debt snowball, this is how I break down. Those are one of the questions I had on the quiz when you first came through. So the debt avalanche method is that you're going to pay off all the debts with the highest interest rate first. You can continue making minimal payments on all your other debt, but you're going to put all the extra funds towards the highest debt. So whatever has the highest interest rate, that's what we're going to be focused on. Once that debt is paid off, you move on to the next highest interest rate debt, and so on and so on. This approach minimizes the total interest you'll pay over time, and it's the most cost-effective strategy. So even though debt snowball is a good strategy, debt avalanche attacks the one with the highest interest rate, which saves you more money over time. Now, debt snowball is a method that you use, and this is for people that really can't do the debt avalanche. They're going to go with the debt snowball, which is fine, but it's a lot slower. So you're going to pay the smallest balance first, regardless of the interest rate. This method can help build momentum, and it provides a psychological boost and a sense of accomplishment. Once the smallest debt is cleared, you apply the amount that you were paying on the smallest debt to the next smallest debt, and so on and so on. So it depends on which one works better for you. I like the debt avalanche method, but some people may like the debt snowball because they say, hey, I got a card for 300. I pay that off. Now I'm going to the next card, and they go with the smallest balance. But you're going to pay more money in interest over time. So the debt avalanche says, okay, you're paying 15% on that car. Let's work on that car right now, because most of your money is going towards interest payments, and you're losing most of your money on this high interest debt. So it depends on which one works better for you. But there's without a doubt that debt avalanche takes care of the debt a lot quicker, and you save yourself more money over time. So those are those two methods for managing debt. So now here's the most important thing that we all get messed up with. We're keeping up with the Joneses. True financial success is not about having the most expensive things and keeping up with the latest trends. It's about making financial decisions that are aligned with your personal goals and priorities. You know what you need, and you know what you don't need, and you know where you need to be at. You can't be worried about somebody else. You got to worry about what your position is, what your thing is. So social media has made it easier than ever to compare ourselves to others. This can lead to feelings of pressure to spend money that we can't afford on things we can't afford. It's also important to remember that what people often share on media is a curated version of their reality. It's curated. It's already planned out. This is not their real reality, but this is what they're showing you on Facebook, on the gram. They may not even be sharing their full financial picture. I know this firsthand because some people I see look like they balling and they're all over the place. They'll come and ask me for some money, and they just came from vacation. So the best way to avoid succumbing to peer pressure is to focus on your own financial lane. This means understanding your own financial goals and priorities and making decisions that are in line with your goals. It also means surrounding yourself with people who support your financial goals. You keep being around people that are overly pretentious, they always showboating, they always try to show you something. That's going to make you want to do it too. Remember, we're a culmination of the 5 people that we hang around. So if you look at 5 people that you're consistently hanging around, you're going to be a culmination of those people. If those people are ultra pretentious and superficial, guess what? You're going to be there too. And then you're going to have a need to kind of feel like you want to fit in. And psychologically, we will do that. And we'll try to fit in. And even if it doesn't align with our financial goals, we'll do that and we'll live our credit card debt. And it's just living a fantasy. We need to be realistic about where we at and not keep up with the Joneses. Stay in your lane.
Since you
A
said
wise
that
man
too,
once said, everyone has a plan
Joneses.
until you're punched in the
Shout out to my
mouth.
Joneses.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to give a shout
So
out to the Joneses.
I'm going to go to the next
Every
slide
time
because I
we
want you to
related
hear
the Joneses.
what Mike Tyson said. Listen.
Good.
A wise man once said, everyone has a plan until you're punched in the mouth.
So short-term to long-term financial. Mike Tyson just said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. This is a quote as a reminder that life is unpredictable and that we need to be flexible and adaptable in order to succeed. If you neglect long-term planning, you're jeopardizing your financial future, and most likely you're going to get punched in the mouth. So Social Security should not be your only source of income when it comes down to retirement. Inflation and a rising cost of living will erode your purchasing power over time. And Social Security benefits are not indexed to inflation. So as inflation increases, they're not increasing your Social Security benefits. It's just not indexed to deal with inflation. That means that your benefits will not increase as quickly as your cost of living. So you need to have other sources of income to maintain your standard of living in retirement. You should prioritize, right now, you should be prioritizing retirement savings, investment strategies, and building a solid emergency fund, rather than solely focusing on immediate financial needs. Now, here's some facts. Nearly 40% of Americans will struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense. So almost half the people that you see in America, that you see on the bus, you see over here, you see in the grocery store, will struggle to cover $400 if it came up unexpectedly. Now that's really interesting because a lot of people around here fronting and all kind of stuff, and the numbers don't lie. Your money really ain't right, and you need to be focusing on getting your money right and not focusing on these immediate things where you just want something for right now to look a certain kind of way. Now, nearly half of American families have no savings retirements. So you think about it. The same people who can't cover $400 expense, that they don't even have any retirement savings. They're not even doing that. This is why I keep focusing on the importance of saving early and consistently. And remember, I told you that most people's excuse is, oh, I ain't got to do it because I'm only 40 years old. I'm 35 and all this other kind of stuff. But if I gave you $10 million, you'll retire right now. So it's a monetary number. Don't talk to me talking about you ain't ready yet, or I got to worry about when I get.
I'm ready.
Do it now. You can
Give
retire.
me $1 million. Let me see what I'm going to do. I retire right now. Give me $1 million. That's all. Let me touch 6 figures. Go ahead, dude. I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Give me $6 million in my account right now. Yeah.
Don't avoid investing. Invest with confidence. Investing is a way to make your money grow. Rather than losing value sitting in a savings account, like I told you, the place you're going to kill you. There are 3 ways. Stocks. Stocks are strong wealth builders. Historically, they outperform savings accounts. And I told you about crypto. You can diversify, lower the risk, spread your investments into stocks, bonds, real estate, metals, crypto. You can go into art if you want to. Prioritize knowledge, learn, seek advice, and make informed investment decisions. Investing is a path to financial growth. To diversify is to reduce your risk and start learning for a secure financial future. So now this table shows the growth of investing over time with the power of compounded interest. And the best part of it is that it's considered passive income. You're earning interest while you sleep. After 10 years of compounding at 10.7% annually, your initial $25,000 investment will grow to $69,000. You made $47,000 more than what you started with, and that's passive income just by investing, and you're sleeping while this money's there. So now imagine if you invested more money, you would get even a higher return. So now compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. I love this quote. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So remember before I was telling you that people who pay interest on their credit cards are the ones who are affording me those reward points for me to go on vacation for free? This is exactly what this is saying. If you understand compounded interest, your money's making money, and this way you're getting paid. But if you don't understand it, you're the one who's paying it. It's the difference between the APY and the APR. You make the choice. So now in this scenario, we're going to try to have $10,000 a month at the age of 65 while we're still receiving $2,000 in Social Security benefits. How much money should we have invested or saved? The reason I brought up this scenario is because $10,000 a month, you get 10 G's a month, you know that you can pretty much live your life. You're not going to have an issue. I don't know too many people who can't live off $10,000 a month. And the average Social Security benefits right now are around $1,500. So for us, $2,000 wouldn't be so far of a stretch. So first, you want to determine your monthly retirement goal. You want to receive $10,000 a month. So we got the number right there. So we know we're receiving $2,000 in Social Security benefits. So we're going to subtract that $2,000 from the 10. That's going to leave us $8,000. So we're going to estimate our annual expense. If we multiply our monthly income by 12, remember we want $8,000. We're getting 2 in Social Security. We need $8,000 a month times 12. That's $96,000 a year. So if we use the 4% rule, which suggests that you can withdraw 4% of your retirement savings annually, you'll find the total savings needed. So we divide our annual expenses by that $96,000, we'll get $2.4 million. So in order for us to retire and get that and draw that 10%, that 4%, which is $10,000 a month, we need $2.4 million to be saved by the age of 65. So now go over to it again, because I know it's a lot of information. It's not really complicated with the math. You have $10,000 per month in retirement, $2,000 in Social Security benefits. You would need a total retirement savings of $2.4 million. Keep in mind that this is a simplified estimate and doesn't account for factors like inflation, investment returns, or other sources of income. It's best to work with a financial advisor so you can create a more precise retirement plan tailored to your specific situation. But this is how you would determine it right off the bat. This is why when you talk to people, you say, well, what's your financial number? You talk to people all the time, and one of the things you hear, oh, I'm tired of working. I want to stop working. Okay, so if you were to stop working, how much money do you need in retirement? Or how much money would you need to live off of, not just for retirement? Oh, I don't know. Well, how could you stop working if you don't know what it is? If you don't have a roadmap and you don't understand how to get there, how do you know what it is if you don't know what that number is? You're just wishing, and that's what we got to stop doing. Stop wishing, and we have to move with intent and be more purposeful. It's not just saying something. Remember before I talked about the SMART and the measurable, and is it achievable, and it's time bound. We want to be able to have things that we can see in front of us and it's tangible, not just saying things because they sound nice. So we're going to move from financial ignorance to financial enlightenment. People who consistently engage in reading financial books, attending workshops, and staying informed about the financial news and trends have better outcomes than those that don't. That's why I have the FinLit. That's one of the main reasons why I have it, is because I want to foster that type of environment because we have more time to talk about stuff that's not moving the needle, it's not getting us ahead. It's fun talk, it's gossip, it's the tea, it's all that kind of stuff. It's entertaining, but it's not really helping us. Other groups are not doing that. We're doing that. And I understand that, but that's a whole other psychology, another time. We often have short attention spans when it comes to learning. People readily chat about sports, cars, relationships, and more, but they really talk about essential topics like financial literacy, self-improvement, financial planning, retirement, or investing. So we need to shift away from that as well because we spend too much time on topics that don't get us in a better situation. Now, we are the master of our own destiny. You can't be pointing the finger, blaming anybody. If you want to be rich and successful, there's 3 things you have to do. You have to unlearn what you've been taught. Most of the time you've been taught, just save your money, pay yourself first. And it's cool, but where's the rest of that investment advice? And we don't have the rest of the story and we don't know how to move. Open yourself up to learn new strategies and life principles. That's one thing that we're not doing. We want to stay in the same lane with the same people. We don't want to broaden ourselves because we know that we have to learn new things. And when you learn new things, there come challenges, it becomes uncomfortable. And you may fail. Most of us do not want to fail. And you can't have success without failure. And third, be willing to change. Be ready to change. Whatever you came in with, this is who I am. Okay, be willing to change and adjust that person. You're going to have to make some amendments in order for you to grow. So the glass is neither half full or half empty. If you're thirsty, just drink. Now that's very deep and it has a dual meaning because we're not worried about being philosophical and saying, well, is it half full or is it half empty? Who cares? Is some water in there? I'm thirsty. I'm going to obey my thirst and I'm going to get some water. So You're worrying about what you can get out of a situation, not worrying about whether or not you can get in or not. There's an opportunity. There's an opportunity. You put your foot in the door. Okay, you in. Okay, what can you make out of this opportunity? Let's not worry about it's not. I don't know if I can do it, and all these other things, these negative things. The glass is either half full or half empty. We're not going to sit here and worry about that because that's going to keep us out the game. That's what we're going to be theoretical. Well, it's half full to me. No, it's half empty to me. Then you get into a debate and nobody moves the needle. Nobody moves forward. If you're thirsty, have a drink. So now we spoke about your savings rate. Once again, I like to add some transparency. My savings rate is about 30%. I make an average about 24 to 30K a month net, and I devote 30% of my net pay to my savings. So I devote another 25+% at around to my investments at around $6,100 a month. The rest gets split up between my main and my third account, those 3 accounts that I was telling you about for reoccurring transactions. I plan to fully retire at 59, 9 years from now. It'll be earlier, but I'm just using this for the example. I'm going to show you how it will look if I combine my savings and my investment rate to create a formula. It'll tell me how much money I need to retire in 9 years. Mind you, I'm not including any of my current savings or investments in these calculations. This is a simple raw projection starting from zero. So now if I continue to save $96,000 a year with a 3% return over 9 years, I have approximately $1.2 million saved at the end of 9 years. I'm also investing $6,100 every month at an 8% annual return. The future value of my investments over 9 years with an 8% annual return would be approximately $896,000. So now if we add my savings and my investment rate together, in 9 years, I have $2.1 million. Plus what I already have invested and saved. This exceeds my target retirement goal of 1.4 million. On the Finlit one, for me to retire at a certain age, I would need 1.4 million. This would exceed that. So I'll have 2.1 just off this, and this is raw. If I started from zero right now, this is what I would have projected within 9 years. And this is how you do it. You're taking your savings rate, and we're looking at our investment rate, and we add those two together, and it's going to give us an estimate of where we should be at a designated time. Remember, it's time bound. It's measurable, so we can see exactly where we can be at. This is not a guessing game. Now, I asked everyone in the group, does anyone here know what their net worth is, and do they know how to calculate their net worth? So I'm going to leave that question out there. Anybody out there know what their net worth is and how to calculate their net worth?
I don't know if you buy Transparency Act, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Transparency Act, right? See what I'm saying? See how that works. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell nobody. Okay. I mean, but for like when you say network, right? Just so people can understand that. Like what you saying as far as what they make in a year before taxes.
Right. Well, your net worth, yeah, I'm going to break down what net worth is. So if you know what net worth is, I'm going to break it down, because people have different understandings of it. And then I'm going to show you how to calculate your net worth. So
net worth and all that.
Here it is. Your net worth. Overall, your net worth is an important part of being financially literate. It's very important. It can help you track your progress, make informed decisions, and feel more financially secure. It's very difficult for you to make financial plans like buying a house or investing for retirement without understanding how to calculate your net worth. So now I'm going to provide some transparency. I'm a net worth millionaire. A net worth millionaire refers to an individual whose net worth exceeds $1 million. Most people do not understand how to calculate their net worth. So here's the formula. The formula is simple. Your total assets minus your total liabilities equals your net worth. So in my case, I got 175K in cash, 280 in equities in an IRA, 320 in crypto. There's a little bit more than that now. 2.9, my business is
crypto
worth.
Popping.
And that's a modest number for my business, what the value of my business is. 2.9. You know, I paid off my house, so my house is worth about 650 to 700. I paid off my car, it's worth about 40K, and I owe nobody. I have zero liabilities. So now if you're a person that owns student loans and you got personal loans, you have all this kind of stuff, your liabilities, you wouldn't have zero here. You would actually have whatever your number is and what you owe. And you would track that from your assets, and that's what your net worth would be. So my net worth right now, just off these numbers, is 4.3 mil, and I have no liabilities. So now it's important to note that being a net worth millionaire does not mean that you got $1 million in cash or liquid assets just sitting around. Your net worth may include the value of your home, investments, stocks and bonds, retirement accounts, business interests, and other assets. So financial independence, retiring early, it was a fire movement. I was really excited about this
People
year.
of 1-5. Go ahead.
That fire. Budgeting, net worth, and savings rate are all essential components of retirement planning, as they provide the financial foundation. They provide the foundation for making informed decisions and achieving your retirement goals. In essence, this is how it breaks down. Budgeting ensures you have the funds to save. Net worth represents your financial health and assets available for retirement. And your savings rate is the engine that drives your retirement savings growth. So by integrating all these aspects into your financial planning, you're going to work towards a more secure and comfortable retirement. Now that we're going on the behavioral paradigm shift, I'm going to reveal to you the 6 modes of financial freedom. It's a journey from survival to success. And this is actually my own story that I put together without all the details. So first, we're in survival mode. If you're struggling to make ends meet and you do not have 3 to 6 months of your emergency fund, once again, your emergency fund, if you make 5 G's a month, in order to have emergency fund, you have 6 months, you need $30,000, 6 times whatever your salary is to create that emergency fund. If you don't have that, you're in survival mode. You're still struggling to make ends meet. In survival mode, it's sort of like, I use the analogy of when like you're swimming and the waves come up and they go over your head, and then you come back up again and you get a breath of fresh air and you go right back down in the water again. You're in survival. You're not in good situation. You're struggling to try to stay alive, and you keep going through this until you get that at least 3 months or 6 months. You're going to continue to be in that mode. So what you want to do is number 2 is set a strategy. You're going to create a comprehensive plan that aligns with your financial goals and priorities in order for you to get out of survival mode. In order for you to do that, you have to have discipline. You're going to have to adhere to a set of principles and strategies that promote responsible financial behavior. With the discipline, what I love to talk about all the time, which I think our present day people, we have a hard time with: sacrifice. We're going to practice delayed gratification. We live in a land right now with instant gratification. We don't have to work towards shit. We want something now, we pop it in the microwave. If you want to lose weight, you just go get a procedure. We can do anything we want to do with a snap of a finger. We don't have to wait for anything. Instead of you saying, I'm going to save up my money, no, I just use a credit card. This is where we at. So sacrifice is practicing delayed gratification. And once you start to practice that and you get that you get a real good firm grasp of that, it makes it easier for the other 3 things to fall in line. So now the most important part of it is that you got to execute. We have a lot of people, they talk a lot of shit. We want to take the necessary steps and actions to turn our intentions into reality. Because talking about it, this is what I want to do and this is what I want to do, it doesn't make sense. And you even get in an argument because somebody don't believe you. You have to actually do it. You have to execute. I don't care about your talking. Words are cheap. So now we have the patience. This is where everybody loses it at. It allows us to stay focused on the bigger picture rather than getting caught up in the short term. Oh man, I'm so tired of this. I'm ready to move on, man. I can't, man. I ain't like you. You know, you can do that. No, you have to do it for yourself. And you have to understand, practice delayed gratification. You have to execute when it's time. You have to be disciplined to stay on the path and stay the course. And you have to be patient. You can't be like a little kid. This is what I want to do. Okay, if you're going to do like that, then you're going to be a little kid and you're going to be waiting like little kids do. You're not going to be the master of your own destiny. You're going to be waiting for destiny to choose what it wants to do with you. So in conclusion, all 6 modes are interconnected. They play vital roles in achieving financial freedom and wealth building. Starting with survival mode, transitioning into our strategy, maintaining discipline, making necessary sacrifices, we're executing our plans, and we're exercising patience that guide us towards a brighter financial future. Each mode contributes to our journey, and as you progress through them, you'll find yourself on a path to greater financial well-being and security. So just to hit it again, 6 modes of financial freedom: survival, strategy, discipline, sacrifice, execution, and patience. So now, most importantly, money can be difficult for a lot of people. There's the math, and then you got a lot of emotions and the psychology of it. That's why I'm on a mission to promote financial literacy and financial independence to our friends and family. Remember, there's no risk without reward. If you do not develop some type of risk tolerance, you will not be able to build wealth. It's as simple as that. The only way you build wealth is by taking your active income and having it multiply for you, making it multiply. If you're not multiplying your money by investing in assets, you won't win this race. You may have some money in the bank, but that won't generate enough income to support you. Believe it or not, $100,000 in the bank won't generate enough income to take care of you as you age. It's going to be enough. It's not going to be enough passive income. Now you know you shall do better. It's as simple as that. So here I just wanted to express my gratitude for everybody coming out in the evening, and I trusted that you gained some valuable insights, and I wanted to thank everybody. And I basically said to everybody success, and that was pretty much it. That was the end of the FinLit, and I try to run it through it as quick as I can with giving you all the.
I think you did great.
And I'm open for some questions if you have some. Other than that, that's the summation. That's it.
Matter of fact, I mean, hey, put anybody in the chat. Just give it a few minutes before we get out of here tonight. About 5-10 minutes. Does anybody have any questions that's in the chat? Say what?
Which brokerage accounts does he recommend or use?
Pierre Baron P saying, what brokerage accounts would you recommend or would you use?
Brokerage account? I mean, if you want to get started, it's easy. You can just go to Robinhood. Open up one on Robinhood. Robinhood. I use Charles Schwab.
Charles Schwab.
Yeah, and then I also do international brokers.
International brokers. He's giving out plugs now. Gotta pay attention. Write this down. If you ain't got one set up, he's showing you, telling you, go do your research. You feel me? Get your Googles. You know what I'm saying? Any other questions out there in the chat? Just making sure before we get out of here tonight. Okay, this is Aboriginal Wall Street. We know how it be. But like I said, we trying to make it FinLit. You know what I'm saying? Right. You brought the FinLit. I'm glad that that's what you inspiring to do from a nonprofit standpoint, because of obviously you're not making money off of teaching people financial literacy, right? No. But you're doing it because you look at the bigger goal of a community of people being able to uplift their families and situations and be able to live autonomously, and especially on a financial level, understanding this literacy in the time we're living in. You feel me? No egos involved. This is all about making it happen. You feel me? Some people don't want to there's no ego involved with this. Different levels. Everybody got life things going on, but spread this information out to your people during the holidays before y'all go spend a lot of your money. I know y'all, people get caught in that cycle. You know what I'm saying? Okay, shout out to Ends Legis. Hope I said it right. Ends Legis. Because all of this is important. And you combine this with DeFi, you will excel. Okay.
No, I mean it's also Netflix stuff. Netflix is still it's a front runner. So I mean, if you already invested in Netflix and you have some traction there, that's still good money. I don't give investment if I say, oh, you definitely need to get on Netflix because you may get on Netflix and it drop tomorrow. And you're mad with me. But as far as Netflix as a stock, Netflix is a solid stock. I had it years ago, and I definitely follow it. It's on my watch list, so I watch what they're doing, and they've been very solid. Even with them raising their prices throughout the years, they've still been able to keep consistent, and they've been able to grow and still meet their revenue. Still create cash flow and meet the requirements of the shareholders. So they've been solid. Netflix is a solid stock. They're going to be here for a while. It's almost like a staple in the community. Almost, think about it. Think about the terms you say. Oh, we're going to do a Netflix and chill. You even got little terms for it. So it's something that's branded community. So you're definitely there. But what I wanted to add is that if we start to have real financial literacy and we start to talk about that more, some of the dumb, trivial stuff that we have that kind of creates, bullshit, the lane for bullshit, we'll have less conversation about that. And we'll start building it. So if I get around, you'll be like, oh man, you see on with Earl Crowley, it was like, oh, I got 77 shares of Coca-Cola. Oh, I got 77 shares of such and such. And I own Coca-Cola too. It's been great. The bottling company, not actual Coke, but the bottling company, that's been a crazy return for me. But then you start to talk about things that are real. Instead of talking about things that's not going to get you anywhere, we start to talk about stuff that's real and we start to build. Right. We have to do that more because we already know there's a crazy wealth gap that's out there, and we're not a part of it. There's wealth that was transferred, those trillions of dollars that was transferred. We were not a part of that. We were property when this wealth was being accumulated and acquired. So we need to be on point because we have the opportunity now. You told Dr. Anderson told you we ain't moved one step since 1860, and we have the opportunity. And the reason we're not doing that is because we're not really focused on mechanisms of building wealth. We'll focus on everything else. Want to just be flashy. And the younger kids are even worse because they think watching a TikTok video is going to teach you how to be an investor in 5 minutes, and we're not really understanding how to invest.
Oh Lord,
about it. So, and the adults even worse because we feel like, oh, I ain't even worried about that. I talk to so many people now. Oh, I want to retire, and I say, when do you want to retire? I don't know. I want to retire, but I don't want to wait to 65. Okay, what are you doing to get there? I don't know. And it's like, okay, well,
you waiting on Social Security to get there. You heard me?
And
That's
Social
what people are waiting on.
It's a socialist program, and it doesn't guarantee anything. Believe it or not, and most people are not going to believe me, Social Security is welfare. That's what it is. You're waiting on
I'm
welfare.
glad you said it that way. It sounds better when you say Social Security, but some people need to understand that's really what it is.
That's what it is. And it's not
That's why people are having a hard time. When you just broke down inflation, matter of fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how you said if you work and then you get this Social Security built up to where you're getting a monthly return when you get to a certain age. But the economy has gone up, the food has gone up, gas has gone up from the first time you started that job. And if you look at the increments of your raises working for that job, you know what I mean? When you might get raised, you started at 40, now you at, you ended your career at 70. You know what I'm saying? Making 70 a year at the end of your career. But at the same time, you're capped. You feel me? Like, so if the system goes up and you're not going up with it when you want to retire, you're not able to really still live the lifestyle that you were living when you were working. You know what I mean? To a certain extent. So now you go, like I see a lot of people go with less when they stop working. They're not able to take vacations. They're not able to. I heard a lady the other day in the line at the credit union. You know what I'm talking about? Like she can't even, you know what I mean? Because of her money that she gets monthly, she can't even afford Netflix since she just brought up Netflix. You know what I mean? Because her budget, as you're talking about, and she's on a budget. So cable, certain things, she's like, I can't afford certain things, internet, and I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? But it's reality. So just taking things in perspective, you never know different people's positions in this life, financially speaking, right? So either way, anybody else before we get out of here? I appreciate everybody that pulled up for our Finland. Obviously, I'm gonna say sponsored by Master Ether. You know what I mean? It's part 2. You know what I mean? He's showing y'all a lot of stuff. Go back and check it out after the fact. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's going to keep doing them, and we're going to keep, I'm riding the wave, you know what I'm saying, of the Finland situation. I'm on the wave 2024, you know what I'm saying? Aboriginal Wallstreet. This is one of the things we got to get our people to talk about to even get into the mind state of, even when we're Wallstreet, you're dealing with stocks, we want to have these type of conversations on Aboriginal Wallstreet. So when you ever see us do this brand, as you know us via Thomas Party with Aboriginal Wallstreet, obviously Master Ether has been with us from the beginning. So even if it's not as popular as the history parts or different guests we might bring on, we know it's very essential to, our evolution, ethnogenesis to get to the ethno aggregation that Claude Anderson, Powernomics, be breaking down. You know what I mean? So make sure y'all pay attention and tap in.
But about the DeFi, I'm an advocate of decentralized finance. I used to talk about that years ago on this channel. So if you want to go back to some older shows, I talked a lot about decentralized finance and DeFi, and I do participate in DeFi as well. I'm really big into the cryptocurrency because I love decentralization, because right now our money system is centralized and they can print as much money as they want. And that means that one group controls the money. In decentralized finance, there's not one group controls the money, just like in crypto, period. So this way you have full autonomy over what happens with your money and where your cash goes. Nobody can tell you, if I want to send money right now, I don't have to go through a bank to go do that. I don't have to go through a bank. I can go and send this right now. Max say, hey man, send me $200. I can send him $200, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever he likes. I can send that to him right now. He goes to the exchange and he has money. We didn't have to go to the bank and say, well, the bank closed right now and they'll be open on Monday. And if you do it after 3 o'clock, that means it's the next business day and all this other crap. And then they're going to charge you a fee so you can get your money. None of that stuff. So I'm all about decentralized finance. It also allows you, the soft side of decentralized finance is staking. So you can stake. I'm staking right now and I'm earning money for being able to stake my cryptocurrency. I'm staking it and they're paying me a dividend every single week on my staking. So I'm definitely, I mean, we can unpack that as a whole nother
Oh, we're
conversation.
gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Like I said, this is the way we want people to know we ain't playing no games. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely see. I think it's Ins Legis. I see that they're asking about DeFi, and I saw you say something earlier, and I definitely. And he said the future will be tokenized, and yeah, we're definitely moving that way because even the banks are coming up with their own stable coins, and they're doing the same thing. Because Swift is going to be out the way. That's our money system right now. It's called Swift. That's how we send most wires. That is becoming obsolete. It's archaic as it is anyway, and so we'll move it on. So we have different rails, and everything is going to be on tokenized, and it's going to be on a ledger, and that's what the blockchain
Facts.
is. So that's that.
Yeah, matter of fact, and shout out to him in the audience. I know he said it's very important. Like as Master Ether said, you know what I mean? He on our show, Aboriginal Wall Street, he's been talking about DeFi, crypto. Shout out to Crypto Fred. You know what I mean? We've been doing this for 3 years, even on a Sunday. It popped up. You know what I mean? We got a little, if you go back and check out, you know what I mean? It's there. It's recorded. You know what I mean? So shout out to Master Ether once again, you know what I mean? Who obviously has brought a lot of this information to us and those who tapped into what we talk about. So man, again, thank you for your time and all the things you do. You heard me?
You're welcome,
Appreciate you, man. Shout out to everybody that tapped into us for our Finlit joint with Aboriginal Wall Street, obviously featuring, you know what I mean, the man, Master Ether. Tap in with us next week, Sunday. You know what I mean? Maroonville panel discussion. The week after that, Esseluski Part 3. You know what I mean? And it's the holidays. So, that last Sunday, we're going to be vibing. We really ain't going to be going crazy, and that's going to be a regular vibe. And then after that, we're going to be off next Sunday after that because that's going to be New Year's Sunday. So, they call it. We dealing with the solstice vibes. We're bringing in the solstice vibes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? So enjoy yourselves. Tap in with us till next week Sunday. Peace, y'all. Master, tap in.
Yes, sir. Y'all be good, man.
We ain't gonna even play no music after this. See, we gonna let it go like this, y'all. Gotta tap in. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace.
Peace.